they're not going to produce anything immediately. They're just going to eat a ton of food, and then once they're fed and reach their ideal weight, you're looking to sell them and buy some more. But if you're going a dairy farm, then come on, then you're not going to get any milk for almost the first year. Now the way round that would be to, you start the farm up, you buy your equipment, you make sure your fields are for the most part producing grass, and then what? But you buy the herd you want, and then buy straw, hay and silage for the first year. You probably don't need a full rack of silage for the first year. Enough, and it depends where you're playing. If you're playing in Europe, spring is going to be wet, so you are not going to be producing much in the way of hay during spring. But you can produce silage in spring, so maybe buy enough silage to get you to the first grass cut, and then produce silage with the first cut in spring. Summer, it's going to be warmer, the ground's going to be drier, the crops are going to be drier, it's going to be easier to make hay. Because it's warmer, it's going to turn the dry grass to hay quicker. You're going to have better drying conditions. So make your hay during the summer, and then you won't need to buy any more. And then for fall, you're going to be harvesting a field of barley, oats or wheat to get your straw. And now your cows are set up for feeding with own produced stuff. You're also going to have some barley, hay or oats to sell, which helps with the income. And then round about the beginning of winter, you're going to get the first calves, so your flock of cows is going to get bigger. Yeah, flock, why not? And then they're going to start producing milk, and at that point now your cows are productive, but you've got to wait about 9 months before you start getting productive cows. With sheep, if you buy them in spring, they're going to be producing wool immediately unless you buy the ones that don't produce wool. Yes, they do. I believe hay dryers are used in Europe, so it's not a big deal. You could produce hay from the get-go, but you're going to need the money to buy a hay dryer. So it's all balancing up your income and what have you as to what you're going to start with, and going for everything is not a good deal. Is probably unwise. And as I said, I'm learning about sheep here, and my goodness, okay. With less than 50 sheep, they eat about 1 bale at a time, and the trough only accepts 1 bale. So they're fairly easy to look after, but once you get to a serious number, the serious number being somewhere over 50, you're now very much spending a good amount of time daily either feeding the sheep, moving the wool pallets and everything else. So having to do cows as well is going to be busy. Having to do pigs as well is going to be busy, so I'm specialising. I think in what was it, Farm Sim 17, that it wasn't widely publicised, but there was limits to how big of a pen could hold. But with Lawfolds, I think I ended up with about 50 cows before they were breeding fast enough, and once I was done I had sort of 70-80 cows, so their production wasn't incredible, but they were still a bit of work involved. The sheep, I was actually at the point I'd get to over 100 and then I would sell down to 100 every fall after the wool production was done. And it also depends if you want to do an arable on top of your stuff. Because, you know, the problem is if you're also doing arable, you need the harvesters, you need the the haulage equipment and all the rest of it. On a cow farm, you could get away with an entry-level harvester. Oops. Didn't need to do that. And just be happy with that. Yes. Yeah, doing contracts or having some trees you can chop down helps with the cash flow on your first year. Once your first year is done, then you're talking income. And the other way you can make money in the first year is obviously with silage as well. So it's not all contracts, but it's stuff that you can do during the year. Well, that wasn't what I planned. So if you've got a map that has no contracts or is limited number of contracts, and I think this is one of those maps, then you're going to be challenged for making income during the year. And you usually need to, just so that, you know, I forgot I'm going to need always comes up. And so the best way to deal with that is make sure either you have a fair amount of money in the bank, or you have emergency income somewhere. So for us on this farm, it's grass as silage. Unfortunately, our grass fields bugged out the beginning of this second year, when we didn't get any grass growing, which is why I ended up cutting the cow pasture, or the designated cow pasture. And I'm already using one of the designated sheep pastures as a grass field, at least for now. But eventually I am going to have to, as we get more and more sheep, it's going to become more and more necessary to probably turn some of our arable fields into grass production as well, in order to feed all the sheep that we have. Let's try that one again. Let's go forwards. How about that? Go. Come on. There we go. That's not what you're supposed to do. Try that one again. Okay. Drop that down. And we're out of there. Okay. Let's try and stab the bottom. That's too high. That's just right. Okay. Do not fall off, do not fall off, do not fall off. Yes. No, do not fall off. And as I'm playing different playthroughs, I will try and use different equipment as frequently as I can. I'm especially planning not to use anything I use on this farm on any other playthrough, because this is a long-term farm, so we're going to be getting bored with all this equipment eventually. So I am going to struggle with this lightweight tractor for as long as possible so that I don't use up my options on other farms. Now I might do something like use the AGCO 1000 again, but it will be in Fendt colours, not in Challenger colours. I might use Valtras again, but it would be an N or T model, not the S. You should probably consider using John Deere on something as well sometime. But I may go some farms common manufacturer so that we end up with everything's Fendt or everything's John Deere or everything's Massey Ferguson. Or more probably everything's Case, because I'm not really done a lot with Case, and I've not done a lot with John Deere because John Deere's new this year. So I may strongly consider a John Deere farm and a Case farm at some point, not at the same time on the same farm. I'm not sure yet. I haven't heard significant details. I think there is, what's it, FarmCon, Virtual FarmCon is tomorrow. And there is going to be an announcement on what the next FarmSim19 DLC is going to be. So we'll have to see how that works and what's coming. But I'm really not thinking that far ahead. Oh, I did see an announcement, if you're interested in Train Sim World, I did see an announcement from Dovetail Games about the new release of Train Sim World 2, which was supposed to be coming out in about 2 weeks' time, and it's been delayed, I think, by 2 weeks. But a lot of their customers complained about their ideas of basically, well, Train Sim World 2 is a new game when compared to Train Sim World. You will be able to use the routes and locomotives that you bought for Train Sim World, but only on the routes that... I'm going to move that away from the wall. There we go. Only on the routes that they were designed for. And a lot of people said, couldn't you make them a little bit enhanced? So Dovetail has turned around and said, okay, what we're going to do is all of the stuff you bought already for Train Sim World will work completely in Train Sim World 2, but you will also be able to use them, the locomotives on the new routes, which, okay, in some cases is a little bit silly. So you can use a Class 47, British Rail Class 47, on the Bakerloo Tube Line or on the Long Island Railroad if you want to, with the sort of the free roam scenarios they allow you to. You can select the route, you can select a locomotive, you can select a consist to attach to the back of it. For the route, you select the start point and the end point, and then you can drive that route with what you've selected. So what they're going to allow you to do is mix and match. Anything you bought from Train Sim World is going to be fully functioning on Train Sim World 2, but it's not going to be enhanced functionally anyway, so no enhanced graphics or sounds or anything. It's just going to be as is. But that does allow you to bring, say, the Class 47 or the Class 43 Peak onto the Tyne Tees line, if you so choose. So that's going to be a nice thing. But as I said, it's going to delay the release by about 2 weeks. They're producing, I think it's 3 or 4 routes immediately converting over from Train Sim World. Then I think 2 weeks later they're going to be, or 3 weeks later they're going to be doing another 2 or 3 routes and equipment move over to Train Sim World 2 for enhanced use. And then after they've got all of that out, they're going to announce the release schedule for everything in Train Sim World that they haven't already converted to Train Sim World 2. So I like that. That's Dovetail Games listening to their customers and saying, you know what, it's not going to be that hard for us to do it. So, and we'll do it, and we'll give it to you for free. Because I'm sure there's people out there who bought the entirety of Train Sim World and then, we're replacing it with Train Sim World 2, and it's not going to be backwards compatible like Train Sim is. And a lot of people said, I'm not really happy about that. Couldn't you please? And they said, yeah, okay. Hi, puppy. So, let us. I think we're going to increase speed because there's nothing else for us to do today. Put some food in there, and it's getting dark. Okay, it's 8:40 and the sun still hasn't set, so we'll slow down the speed up time. When I heard, and then actually it's kind of like that for everything. I used to play a fair amount of flight sims, and back in, was it 2009 thereabouts, they were bringing out Train Sim, and I'm thinking, how interesting can that be? I'm stuck on 2 pieces of metal, driving where straight line. I don't have to worry about handling corners or anything like that. Okay, actually I'm going to cancel that, step back, slow down time. It's 9 o'clock. So 10 hours. And almost the same with Farm Sim when it first came out. I'm thinking, how much fun can Farm Sim be? And it's summer, yes. And so I didn't bother with them on early take-up, but a number of years ago, Train Sim was released one winter. They had a sale, and you could buy the game itself for $4. And it's sort of, it's not a lot of money. I could always see what it looks like. And if I don't like it, it's only $4. And so I did, yeah. I bought it for $4, and it's kind of enjoyable because it's the challenge, especially with steam, of keeping the power up, keeping the steam pressure, and making a timetable, and that's what the challenge is. It's making the timetable. You're supposed to be at the next station. You're leaving this station at 1 o'clock, and you need to be at the next station by 10 after 1. And then you need to be at the station after that at 15 after 1. And that's where the challenge is. Making the timetable, and also stopping the train at the station so the people can get on and off. There's a number of times it takes a fair amount of practice and accuracy to stop where you need to stop. And overshooting the station is a bad thing, and undershooting the station is going to make you late because you have to pull forwards into the station. Reversing, if you overshoot the station, can result in a failed mission, and you have to restart it. What else is there? Watching the lights or signalling as to when, do I need to stop? Is there something up ahead that's a problem or whatever? So how are we doing? That's still growing. Those two are growing. That's doing okay. That has weeds on it. How are the weeds? Undecided, and the grass fields have weeds. Actually, that's something I do need to check. We need to go and have a look at a grass field and see what it looks like. And then Farm Sim is a different set of challenges, but it's what you make of it. It's a sandbox game, but you find your right map, and then you set yourself goals and you play the game. Okay, this is growing, 100% fertilized, and the weeds are too big to weed. Did I add some stuff? I can't remember. I didn't look for any new weeders. I did look, I think. Yes, this is a good thing for spot herbicide. It's not got a very big working area, so I could buy one of those and then just tap the weeds I want dead. It's 12-meter working weed, so there's a little bit of wastage as you run around. With this set obviously being far more useful for a full coverage. But not worrying about weeds right now. So this is growing, and it does look, it looks better than it did. So we planted it dirt, we came back at 0 growth, and the field was sort of green, and now it has spiky bits on it. So a little bit of time, that's going to grow into decent. I also want to check. I guess we'll find out when we get to actually cutting the grass. Is that going to be? Has that reset the field edges as well to start growing? The bits that aren't part of the growth. So and the reason I got into Farm Sim was because of a chap called IL Grey who plays World of Warships, and he did as something different. I have been looking at this game, and I thought that actually looks kind of interesting, so maybe I'll go for that. No, don't want to buy new sheeps. We want to turn on the water. Actually, I will go there. We can look at what we've got. So I have so many sheep. Oh, there's one. So that one's £62. That's one. 62 52. Once they get to about 75, 80 pounds, they're worth over 300 pounds money. So see, that one's 79. Not getting rid of that one because that will be a breeder next year, but looks like I got rid of most of the males. So we ended up with about 10 males. Oh no, there's some more. So these are 103. Ooh, hello. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12. So it looks like I've got 12 there. But you can see sort of the difference between, if I go back up towards the top, just take one of these. This one's 282 at 56 pounds. I think I've got some lighter. So 282 at 56. Do I have any younger? 56. The males are heavier. So this one's 44, 268, 282. But then when we got down to here, and they're 151, 391, 79, 311. Yeah, there's approximately $15 pounds difference in that 10 pounds. But between 79 and 151, it's not quite so steep. But I think I'm making the call that I'm selling these 340. Well, I've actually kept them longer than I wanted to. So let's go get the Fendt and take some sheep to the stalls. So, on reflection, putting the animal attachment on the back of the flatbed was a good plan after all. Can I go this way? Yes. This little passage is a big improvement over Farm Sim 17. That wasn't there. Lined up right. There we go. And since there's not a lot else going on the farm today, again, I am going to leave this running at 15 times. So we're going to sprint through the year or through the day a little bit quicker. Just on 3 hours broadcast so far. I can't see too much trees. Ooh. Let's raise the forks at least that way. Things will turn better. not a very forgiving hitch on this trailer, I want to